Folks, hey, how you doing? I wanted to spend a few minutes with you sharing some insights around your recruitment practice, and in particular, the things that, I've learned over the years, most business owners, most hiring decision makers around salespeople are not focusing on, right? So, I've got the circle up on the screen here. You can see it says can do. The fact of the matter is the vast majority of the stuff that we do in the recruitment process, that traditional recruitment methodology, which is call for a cover letter, ask for the resume, do a structured interview, maybe do some personality assessments, and, taking a look at reference checks, predominantly focus on whether the person can or can't do the job. Right. So when we're looking at, the resume in particular, when we're doing the interviews, we're asking them often as not to tell us of different things they have done in the past that would give us an indication that they can do what we're going to ask them to do in the future. So we're very focused on can do. Nothing wrong with that. You need to do that, obviously, because if somebody just has no clue how to do the things you're going to need them to do, that's going to be problematic. And then the other piece that we tend to focus on as well, slide to go here. Of course, increasingly these days we're being told that we've got to take a look at whether or not they fit our culture, right? So, do their values align with ours? Do their beliefs align with ours? Can we imagine them being in our working environment, and that all of the people that work with us and for us are going to come together and play nicely and share their toys? And again, really, really important that you do that. You don't want somebody in your culture who is, oppositional to it, who's going to bring poison to it, or is going to, in some ways kind of drag the culture down or back, or all that kind of thing. So they're the two things that most of us have been taught, and particularly in recent time around cultural fit, that we need to focus on. What I'm going to suggest to you, however, is that there are two pieces which are missing, okay? So one, really, really importantly here is what I describe as will do, right? And I want you to think about it this way. When we hire people, as I've already said, most times we're hiring them because we have ourselves convinced that they can do the job. When we let them go, however, and I want you to think about this, think about your own experiences here. When we let them go, 9 times out of 10, it's not because they can't do the job, it's because they won't do the job. There are things that we want them to do, things that we need them to, perform certain actions that they need to kind of undertake. And in sales in particular, right, that gig that's got a whole bunch of potential rejection engaged in it, so as an example, can I cold call? Yes, I can. Will I? No, I won't. Right. So there's a whole bunch of things there that we need to get an understanding around whether this person will do the job or not. So well and good that they can, but will they? Right. So can do, can't do, will do, won't do are really, really important factors for us to consider. Right. And so we've got to be thinking of ways in which we identify their willingness to do the things that are expected of them in the job. Right. And then the other piece that I'm going to throw in with the culture piece is, yes, you want to make sure that they actually are going to fit your culture. But for a salesperson, here's a really, really important part. Will they resonate with your ideal avatar, your ideal client profile, your ICP? Right. If I give you an example, in my Justified Talent business, we specialize in working with small business owners to recruit their first sales professional. And so anybody who's selling my service has got to be able to resonate with small business owners. They've got to be able to understand what the challenges are that small business owners face, that frankly, the directors and the executive and the senior leadership team in great big publicly listed companies have no clue about. They don't experience any of the challenges that a small business owner does. And so, I've got to make sure that anybody who's representing Justified Talent will resonate with small business owners, where they're going to feel comfortable about why this person represents our brand. Conversely, I've got another business which is called the Shortlist, right? And the Shortlist works with the bigger corporates and helps them discern, once they've got a short list of 3 sales candidates, wherever they got them from, it helps them through a bunch of psychometric assessments and behavioral analytics determine whether or not, or who within their 3 is actually going to be the best pick. Most of those sales are going to be made to sales directors in large, publicly listed companies or $100 million a year turnover kind of businesses, and or are going to be made to HR decision makers. And so what's interesting there is HR in particular tend to have a somewhat kind of academic, if you like, intellectual approach to all of this. And so it's important that whoever works in the shortlist will resonate with that client base. And the person who's going to work well with HR is not going to be the same person who's going to work well with small business owners. Food for thought: can do, will fit, and will resonate. They're the things that we've got to be looking for when we're recruiting salespeople if we've got any chance of them being a good fit.